Okay, everybody. I am doing some gasket work on my, I believe it's an 18 horse L-head opposed twin from Briggs and Stratton. In doing the repairs, I had to pull the sump cover off, as you can see. And when I did that, I heard a sound that made my heart jump into my throat. It was a metallic sound, and it sounded like crap just fell into the engine. And I had to find it all. Well, after some research, I found out that it was basically the governor, and it wasn't broken, it just fell off while I was taking the sump off, whether I bumped it or pulled it or something like that. Anyway, I found all the pieces, and I have them right here. I have this funky washer, the governor itself, this cap, I guess they call it, and this, which I was not sure what it is. And I looked up all kinds of videos trying to figure out how it goes on. Okay, it kind of goes in there like that. And then it all encloses. That's groovy, except, and it's supposed to not open any more than that. If yours does, your governor's probably bad. It's these little pins right here. Those little arms right there. They need to not be worn too much. So I was wondering, when I go to put this cover back on, I have to flip it upside down and set it here. Well, what the hell prevents this from just sliding right off like that? And where the hell does this guy go? I have the answer. I looked all over forums, I looked on YouTube, I couldn't find a straight answer. I even looked in the parts breakdown, and I saw other people have this question too, because it's not exactly clear in the parts diagram. But luckily I found the Briggs and Stratton official twin L-head repair manual. And there's two diagrams that show it. One doesn't show the order of parts. The other one does, thankfully. And so, indicative of where this guy goes first. I believe they call this a thrust washer. And then your governor goes on, but without the cap. You can't have the cap in there. So the governor goes on. Okay. But what prevents it from sliding off? That's where this ring comes in. Yeah. There is a diagram I saw, and it actually puts this pin, it looks like it goes on top of that, which would be utterly useless. It actually goes underneath the cap on here. Just like that. Just like that. And that prevents this from sliding off. Now, you would think, okay, you got to put it all the way down to the bottom. You can't, because you need to put this guy on first. And how you do that is you bring, really tricky to do this one-handed. You bring the governor up. I hope that was in camera. That is how that works. And it should not come apart. It can't come apart, and it can't pull up because that ring is there. Now if you pull and push hard enough, it will slide. But as long as that ring is there, it shouldn't move. And this allows you, that's how it works right there. So this shouldn't, when you lift it up and flip it over to put it on your engine again, should not fall off. But because of the random orientation of this gear, you will, when you flip it over, it won't push down flush. You may have to rotate the crankshaft a little bit. So just to go over this again, This is what happened basically when I took it off. I must have snagged it and just pulled the whole thing. So let's look at how it breaks apart. You have your thrust washer underneath. You take these apart. You have your cap, your governor weights on either side, and then the gear. And then right in there is your ring.